Hey everyone, this is Dave with Android Police, and we're here in Barcelona at Mobile World Congress 2017, and as you can tell, I'm holding the LG G6. We actually just got back from an event with LG where they were kind enough to provide us this pre-production unit, which is to say that the hardware is final on this phone. The software is not, though, and LG did want us to disclaim that. So while the look and feel of the phone and the fit and finish should be commensurate with the retail product, the software is not done yet, and so I won't talk about the software experience from a kind of stability and bugginess standpoint. Not that I've had any problems with it, but just because the software is not final. So let's do a brief overview of what you should know about the LG G6. The first thing you're probably going to notice is this striking display, which covers most of the front panel. LG says it has an 80% screen to body ratio. Now, this is a 5.7-inch IPS LCD Quad HD resolution. Now, what's interesting about it, though, is the particularly wide aspect ratio. As opposed to a typical 16:9 screen that you would find on most smartphones, the G6 is actually 18:9. Now, LG says this allows you to get some more usable space out of the interface, but they also emphasize the fact that you're able to make the phone screen bigger without actually making the phone much harder to hold, because the phone can stay the same width, essentially, while growing the display. And I agree with that, especially when you're talking with on-screen buttons. I think that moving to a wider aspect ratio on a smartphone screen does make sense for sure. Now, you are probably going to have some reachability issues with some buttons up at the top here because the phone's getting so tall, but I would say it's definitely not unusable or even hard to use. As far as other specifications, inside, you've got a Snapdragon 821 processor, and I know the first response is, why not a Snapdragon 835? And the answer is, because LG can't get them yet, and neither can anybody else except for Samsung, apparently, when the S8 is announced next month. There are 4 gigabytes of RAM, 32 gigabytes of internal storage, 64 gigabytes in some markets, but probably not your market, if you're watching this video. There's wireless charging, but only for the United States, which is weird. A 3,300 milliamp hour battery, which is sealed inside the device, which brings us to the next major change on this phone. It is IP68 water and dust proof, so you can dunk your G6. And we know that was a big complaint about the G5, and I think LG really took that to heart on this phone. In fact, I think LG took a lot of critiques about the G5 to heart when it built the G6, because it seems just built all around to address them. You've got a USB-C port here on the bottom with Qualcomm Quick Charge 3.0 built in. I know it's not USB power delivery, and I'm sure LG had their reasons. I didn't get around to asking them why. I would guess just because Quick Charge is probably a little easier for them to do. The cameras on the back here, we have seen some changes. I believe they're the same sensors you'll find on the LG V20 as far as the main camera, the narrow angle camera goes. I'm not sure if I'm actually pointing to the narrow angle camera. I think I am. But the wide angle camera has seen an upgrade, though. It now is also a 13 megapixel sensor, the same one as the main narrow angle camera, meaning you should be able to get high quality stills, or at least comparable quality stills, out of both lenses, which is great. I think that's definitely going to increase the usability of that wide angle lens. On front is a 5 megapixel 100 degree wide angle camera, and that kind of rounds out the imaging features. I don't think anything else has been changed as far as imaging performance otherwise in any kind of substantial way. Now, you're also probably wondering about software-wise what makes this phone interesting and unique. Well, right now it's running Android 7.0, and if I can get to the specification or the about screen here, I'll show you that. But this is pre-production software. LG says the phone will get Android 7.1 by the time it ships. That is, when you go buy an LG G6, should you choose to do that, you'll have Android 7.1. It also has, and is the first non-Pixel phone to have, Google Assistant, which is a thing, if that's something you particularly care about. And I know Nexus fans still are waiting for Assistant, but it looks like the LG G6 will get it before you do. There's a micro SD card slot here. There's a big SIM tray that pops out, so you can expand your storage as well, of course. I did not ask LG if adoptable storage is supported, and I don't recall what the situation on the G5 was with that. I feel like it didn't support it, but I'm having a hard time remembering at this very moment. As far as software features, honestly, LG hasn't really changed much. The look and feel